Good afternoon, all. How are we all doing? Afternoon, Mumbo, Mumble, Mumo, Fletch, Marco. How are we doing? Sorry, still got a cold. If you weren't here this morning, I've got a cold, so I'm not with it. Right, markets are open. We'll have a look at where we're going this afternoon. I've been working on the new members' live streams today, trying to get a plan together of alternating weeks between CFDs, prop, bootcamp, other strategies, basically trying to shoehorn it all in to a calendar, which is fun. So it's in progress. I'm getting there. I kind of know what I want to do, but trying to find the hours in the day is very difficult. So I will get there. I've got a calendar sort of I'm working on in progress, but not easy. Right. So this morning, not a lot of news, as you can see. Nothing much has happened this morning. We had the US Waits annual China chip supply permits for Samsung and Hynix was the only news we had pre-market today. And so far in the day, there's been absolutely nothing come out that's moved the market at all. So very quiet on the on everything, basically. Opening range breakout this morning on the DAX was very nondescript. We didn't get anywhere. 2 losses this morning. Market just basically went sideways all morning. So we took a breakout long of the 5-minute ORB. That stopped out. It then broke short. It stopped out. It then broke long. It went down. It then broke short. You wouldn't have taken it because it's too late in the day. But yeah, it did actually then move down and do the gap fill, which would have given you maybe 1.5 hour. If you're lucky, and now it's back to where it started. So absolutely useless this morning, the DAX. No volume at all. Couldn't trade it. Rest of the indices obviously just opened up. Gold, very, very quiet this morning on the New York side of things. So very little movement there. It is a bit more of a plodder, but yeah, nothing much happening at the open there, as you can see. So NASDAQ, we've had a push to the upside. DOW, we've had a push to the downside. So I'm going to trade, obviously, the ORBs on those if they're big enough, which it may not be. We'll have a look at, see what the EA makes of it. How long we got left? Just under a minute. I'm going to be trading a futures account this morning as well, or this afternoon, wherever you are. So just get ready to place some orders on that. Once this 5-minute is in, I'm going to close on the highs, which I don't like taking longs on those. So I can put a sell stop in place, but never really keen on going long when we're breaking at the highs like that. I'd like to see that pull back a little bit before I get an order on that. Don't want to just jump in. So ORB, as you can see, this is exactly the same reasoning with the opening range breakout EA on CFDs. Because that closed at the high, it marks it as the 1-bar range being no good because you get a limit order trigger and the market will move away from you with a limit order in place. This is a breakout strategy. If we're closing at the highs, you can't take a breakout when it's actually closed right on the high like that. So it'll wait now for that 10-minute candle to go in, and assuming that closes inside, we'll take a break of the 10. Dow is fine to trade. We're like bang in the middle of that. So Dow, we can go either way. Gold, too small. So bit of a push up. We've had a very, very quiet morning on the DAX. I'm just wondering if we're going to get very much the same happening this afternoon with the US indices. So we are trying to break high. As you can see, this little green line here on Tradeovate indicates that's the high of the day. So we're basically trading up at the open into the high of the day. So it's very difficult to pick anywhere, that we're kind of going to go from here. That would be obviously the main target, which is Friday's high at the moment. But it is breaking long. We'll see where we go. Whoops. So a little bit of a break up there. FX side of things, not a lot happening really. FX wise this morning, we've had a little bit of intraday movement. the main mover was the Australian markets. So as you can see, all the New Zealand dollar pairs very, very, very volatile today. We've had a lot of strength in that New Zealand dollar. We covered it this morning. So very nice big push up, 125 ADR on New Zealand CAD. New Zealand Swiss also pushed up nearly 150 ADR. 150 hit on New Zealand dollar yen. Euro New Zealand to the downside hit 150, bouncing now. So all these reversals potentially are starting to kick in at the start of the New York session. So you could look for mean reversion opportunities, look for them to pull back up into recent support resistance areas, propulsion gaps. But yeah, so big strong moves on those pairs today. The there's a couple of others in there, Swiss related basically. So oops, one. So the Swiss franc, little bit strong today. If you look at the Swissy, we've had a decent move on that. There's a gap up on the Swiss against the yen. This was to do with the announcement that the PM is resigning in Japan. Market dropped on that, obviously dropped the yen, which means everything pops against the yen. Whether or not that's going to continue weakness on the yen, I'd be more inclined to think there's gap fill opportunities in all these Japanese pairs. So if you look at the US dollar yen, it's already done the gap fill. There you go. So that reversal alert this morning was your signal for the gap fill. So that one's already done it. The rest of the yen pairs, New Zealand yen, New Zealand's on a march at the moment. So it's got a long way to go to get back down to there. But the rest of these, it's nearly done as well. So potentially an opportunity there on the retest for a drop down for the gap fill. So a few opportunities on the yen pairs today. There we go. So that's the pullback on the 5 minutes. So I'm going to take a break of that 10-minute range, which the EA will also trigger on. Dow looking to pull to the downside. Gold going absolutely nowhere. Rubbish today. Look at that. No volume. Totally dead. Good afternoon, Mare, or morning even, wherever you are. So Dow's looking like it's trying to break short. Struggling a little bit. Afternoon, Ryan. Almost got that triggered. So if we have a look at where we're potentially going today, there we go. Triggered short on the Dow. So Dow downside today, obviously Friday's low is your first stop. So there's your risk. That's your reward, basically. So that's your first target to the downside, roughly 1.5 to 2 ADR, 1.5 to 2R. Failing that, you've got this low down here from whenever that was behind my head, and that was Wednesday's low. So Tuesday and Wednesday, basically same low pretty much. That's pretty much an ADR away. So if we do break down and this support does not hold, that's where we're headed, somewhere down into this area. So let's hope we get a decent break to the downside on the Dow. Going nicely so far. NASDAQ opposite, looking like the NASDAQ wants to push long. 2-bar range still too small on that gold. Not enough movement there. So we've got a little bit of diversification going on with the indices at the moment. Dow pushing down, NASDAQ and the S&P be pushing up. One of them will take control. So just a quick heads up on what I'm going to be covering content-wise moving forward. I've been trying to work out this calendar. And I'm trying to keep it to 3 days a week still. So that one of the things that came out in the survey that I did was people wanted hour-ish long lessons not more than 2 to 3 times a week, because obviously you need to be able to consume the content, and you can't be on it every day of every of the month. So I'm trying to split it down into 3 sections. So have a week where we trade prop. Yeah, so this will be every Monday we'll have a news trading opportunities this week, a sort of market overview. That will be on YouTube, and then a prop session on YouTube as well. But on prop week, if you like, we'll do 4 lessons basically. So there's one there, and a live session, one there, and a live session, and one there, and then a live session. So it's actually 5 lessons, if you like, which will be roughly half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, which just basically cover prop, how prop works, how to trade prop, strategies to trade prop, and basically the mechanisms of trading prop. Yeah, because it's different to normal trading, isn't it? We need to play the game with prop. It's all about staying within the risk tolerances and finding strategies that work within prop's risk tolerances. And more importantly, understanding what those risk tolerances are in prop. They're very different to normal trading. So we'll have a week where we will do that. Then there's going to be a week where we will mix the two together. So this is going to be position trading bootcamp week stroke fortnight. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to deliver it yet, but the new bootcamp, I'm going to try and get it down into 5 hourly lessons. So we'll have a top-down overview of this is position trading, how everything works. And then we'll have 3 or 4 days of going into detail about each part of position trading. So this will be kind of a YouTube session where we'll do it on YouTube for everybody as a top-down introduction, and then we'll go into detail in the members section over 1/2 weeks. Not sure yet. Intermingled with all of this, we're going to look at news trading opportunities. So I'm going to start breakout strategies on news, which is something I used to do ages ago. It's basically the same as ORB. All we're doing is we're looking for when the market's going to move. You know when it's going to move. The news event comes out, you wait a little bit, and then it pops. So what we will have is scattered throughout the week, every single week, when the news events are coming up, we'll be trading news. So 1:30 on Wednesday, I will do a session at 1:45 on Wednesday. Not this week, but this is what would happen. Where we will just jump on for 15 minutes and we will trade the news, basically. So it will be a case of going through the strategy for news trading, executing the strategy for news trading, and then the following day, we can look at how did yesterday's one go as we're setting up and trading the next one, So these will be like small breakout sessions, if you like, which will just be 15, 20 minutes long, which will be about news trading and actually trading the news, watching how the market's reacting to it, that sort of stuff. So this will be in between, shoehorned in between the normal sessions, basically. And then I'm going to do an arbitrage. I'm hoping to do an arbitrage session where we look at how to arbitrate, basically, which is going to be based off of correlation, basically. So we'll be looking at correlation opportunities. And how to trade correlation, basically. So we're looking for things like this here, the Aussie CAD, Aussie US, anything that is massively highly correlated over a period of time. We'll be looking to how to trade correlation arbitrage. Something I did, again, I've been doing it all week, but there's a trade this morning I did, made 0.5% on a pound US dollar, euro US dollar arb, which is basically taking one trade one direction, one trade the other direction when they're out of sync and waiting for them to come back into sync, which they spend 80 to 90% of their time in sync. So you just take advantage of that. You wait for the correlation to diversify, and then you trade it. So again, I'm going to do a couple of sessions on that, which we will trade every week, and just see what is correlated. So, it's about looking at different time frames and seeing how correlated things are. That might take a while because it's a 15-minute chart. There we go. So yeah, at the moment it's Aussie CAD and Aussie US. You could trade pound CAD and pound US as well. But that's about it. So it's just about using this correlation matrix to identify opportunity, basically. So, but I'm fleshing this out. And I want to keep it down to 3 days a week still. So I've got 2 days where I can focus on Q&A sessions with members and obviously other stuff. Yeah, so just making it a bit more structured. We're long on NASDAQ and short on the Dow. That's good, isn't it? Futures I didn't actually trigger. So haven't managed to get the trade on the futures. Interesting there, look. So there's your 3 highs on the futures market on the NASDAQ. And then if you look at the CFDs, and this is one of the things we're going to be covering in detail in this, is that trade is triggered long because of the spread. So basically we got to there, but it spread me into the trade. So that's the difference between trading CFDs and futures. Spread, literally. Other than that, price action is exactly the same, which you'll see. Yeah, candlesticks really do not look any different on futures and CFDs. All about the spread and obviously execution. Well, we'll cover all that. Afternoon, Pleiades. Mumo, did you do the draw for the survey responses? I did. They've all been notified. If you haven't been notified, I'm afraid you didn't win. I've put the licenses on the system already for them. So actually, there's one person that hasn't responded. That's reminded me. I've got to email them. Yeah, so one person hasn't come back to me with their licenses. So yes, I'm assuming you didn't win, Mumo. But then again, I think you've probably got most of the EAs you want anyway, haven't you? So, right, NASDAQ looking like it's going to break long. We are still sort of inside range, though, at the moment. So that's your 10-minute range, 15-minute range. So this is the 15-minute opening range break. But we're not really going anywhere. There we go. Long. Oops. Oh, what a horrible, horrible drawing. I'm not keen on Trader 8's drawing tools, to be honest. The easiest thing to do is just to draw a line where you want it to and pretend you're going to put an order. Okay, there we go. So long on the NASDAQ. So if you weren't triggered in on the spread there, you're definitely triggered in now. Long gold as well. So there's the 15-minute ORB. So gold has also triggered long. And the Dow is short. So real diversification there. We've got 2 longs on and a short on the Dow. So if the markets are going to fly in one direction or the other today, either that or that is likely to hit target. Gold is off. Looks like we got some drops coming in the dollar. Got some alerts going off. Gold is 125 ADR now. So big, strong move. This US dollar not doing particularly well. Neither is the CAD at the moment. But yeah, US dollar coming down again on obviously the interest rates, which are going to be dropping next week. We looked at that this morning. We've got the PPI numbers coming out tomorrow. We've also got CPI, Wednesday. We've got CPI coming out on Thursday as well. So if these are negative numbers, we're going to see a real drop in that dollar. And I think the market is kind of anticipating that happening. For any of you that are in the members section already, I've added a new element into the historical sentiment over time section, where you can now also look at the chart. So euro US dollar. I haven't launched it. Hang on a minute. Did I launch it? I thought I had. Yeah, I have. So you can also now look at, as well as the historical, bigger, as well as the historical retail sentiment over time. You can now plot the chart as well with price data, so you can see how the movements on retail sentiment correlate with market movement. So it's a little bit of an analysis tool, basically, so you can see what happens when you get the crossovers. So you've got one there on August the 27th, for example, which is somewhere there. So you can see, obviously, that the market started to go short, so it broke up. Then the market started to go long, it accumulated, and then it broke back down. So just gives you an idea of what actually happened, and that basically changes. So if you move over to daily sentiment analysis, that'll move over onto a daily chart automatically for you. So I've added that in as a little additional tool this morning. Okay, still long. If anybody's got any FX pairs they want to look at, let me know. Remo, yeah, I have all EAs and indicators. Excellent, good job. I haven't got anything new that you could want then. You just get another 5 licenses, which you've already got. So it wouldn't have been good if you'd have won it. CAD Swiss. Yeah, so big drop there. I mean, Canadian dollars dropping, all negative news for the CAD last week, negative news for the dollar. It's correlated with the dollar, so it's going to be going down. Swiss franc at the moment, the Swiss franc is on a bit of a rally. Not quite sure why. There's nothing really that has hit the news that would drive the Swiss up. China and Switzerland central banks renew local currency swap deal. That's not really a reason for the Swissy to go mad, but yeah, just very strong at the moment. This Canadian dollar through the floor, basically. On unemployment last week went through the roof. So this has all been updated this morning as well, the fundamental analysis, so it loads instantly. It loads all the sentiment straight away now rather than loading, which it did for ages and ages. I've done it, coded it differently. So yeah, so as you can see, for the CAD last week, unemployment was not good. The unemployment rate at 7.1 off of a forecast of 7. That's down as a no impact. It is actually bearish, but it's because it's only a 0.1 differential. It is actually kind of within tolerances. So, but it is bearish. So yeah, all bad news really for the CAD. So if you're position trading that, well, you want to look at support areas basically, and don't actually think you got any. No, you haven't. So you're out into all-time lows here. Nothing you can do with this. So yeah, all-time lows. So it's one of those hold and hopes basically. You're out into areas uncharted. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can look to the left at and say, right, this is where we're going to pop it. So basically, you're looking for a push up into this area for a potential new leg down. But if we get nothing but negative news on the dollar this week, there's no reason why that should bounce back. So if you've taken that as an RSI mean reversion, I mean, it's an all-time low. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's never going to bounce back, but obviously this is market testing new territory. So we could see a sustained move to the downside on this. This is a 4-hour RSI extension. Last time you were down in that territory was here. Yeah, so it's a very similar move, look. we've got going on here, break out of the low into new uncharted territory. And then we basically pushed down for probably 3 ADR beyond that extension before we got divergence and we bounced back up and we pushed up by a couple of ADR. Look, so ADR is 32. We pushed up by 90. So we pushed up 3 ADR. So I think all you can really do with this is, obviously, if that's your first long, scale in, keep it 3/4 of an ADR, and look for something like a 2 to 3 ADR pullback at some point, probably up into here. So if you look at where this one broke, you had that propulsion move there, which retested, and then you had this big propulsion gap there, which they retested and added to. We came back up and we retested the low of that propulsion gap. This is what's forming here, look, propulsion gap. So once you get down into here, look for a retest of this propulsion move that we've got going on today. That's potentially going to be your exit. So you're going to be scaling in. I mean, this whole leg here from that extension is somewhere in the region of 3 to 4 ADR. So look for 3 to 4 ADR down, which means you're going to get into somewhere between 4 to 6 positions potentially, and then wait for the pullback. All you can do with that one, all-time lows, nothing to look at. Positive swaps, yeah. So you got positive swaps on it, so you're going to get paid to hold it. It's just a waiting game. News-wise for the CAD, I don't think there is anything this week. No. So there's no news this week on the CAD. We've got the Swiss. Tomorrow morning, we've got Schlegel speaking. Obviously, that sounds like Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings. Anyway, Schmeagol, my precious, is speaking tomorrow and Wednesday. So there is potential for some movement on the Swiss off the back of that. They might come out and say something about future guidance on interest rates or inflation. Typically, the Swiss say nothing. They are totally tight-lipped. They never come out and tell us what's going on, and they always drop annoyances on us. So if you look at the Swiss and the deviations on the Swiss, so if you look at the CPI numbers, yeah, we never really get a forecast. It's never right. Yeah. And the same with their interest rates. Yeah. Forecast 0.25. We got actually the last couple they've actually got right, haven't they? I'm not logged into my other account. I was going to go back further, but yeah, it's just, they're notorious for not telling us anything, aren't they? Okay, so rejecting at the moment. Little pullback underway. Market's really struggling today to get going. We are moving, but it's not particularly convincing today, is it? Sorry, I didn't understand it correct. Did you announce the winners of the survey? Yes. I've just told you that. I've been through it. I literally have just been through it all. Positive swaps, yeah. Okay. So yeah. Just hold it. Is all you can do. All you can do. Aussie New Zealand, I'm back in positive territory now. I'm really undecided what to do with this. So these 2 aggressive drawdown control positions that I got on. This is the last trade on my account here. There is, I think, a very high probability of a continuation pullback on this, especially on this New Zealand dollar strength, which has come out of nowhere. I'm undecided as to whether or not to hold it because I've got a good sized position on this. I can just bank it now and take the money, or I can hold it and go for a big win on it. So that is, as you can see, 2%. So by the time we get half an ADR, that's going to be 4, 6. That's 8% profit if we get down and just retest propulsion. However, it's a trade that I've been in now since June. So I would kind of like to be out of it, because this is obviously a fundamental shift in the Aussie. So I'm not convinced this is necessarily going to hold. So I'm kind of giving it a few hours to play out today. I just want to see how we react. We've been selling for, like, as you can see, 12 hours now. Kind of 16 hours, really, all day, basically. We've just been selling. So we sold off hard, got the reversal alert, retested and dropped. So there's your M pattern reversal. It's kind of a head and shoulders pattern, and the shoulder is broken. So I'm looking for a retest on my average, basically, and then a push back down into there. However, there is a chance it may well just accumulate up here, because there is a lot of strength in that Australian dollar. So it's a very tricky trade to hold on to. I might take a partial on it and do some drawdown control, but I kind of want to get this account shut down so I can move over onto the MT5 one. But equally, I've had a good month. Well, it's not a good month. It's an okay month. And I kind of would like to turn it into a very good month, but risky. Got a lot of lot size on there. So I'm just giving that a few hours to run and see what happens. Gold is holding up. Nasdaq's trying to hold up. Dow is also. This is a real mess today. No directional bias. Why am I moving to MT5? Just decided to move over. Got to move at some point, and the statistics show that MT5 is now. It's not a majority, but it is. There's more. It's roughly 50% of people now that are buying EAs, and indicators are on MT5. So I'm kind of just moving with the times, reluctantly, and I am still trialing. So one of the reasons for me personally is to cut down development time. I want to just develop for one platform. Virtually every broker on the planet offers MT4 and MT5. Some of them now are not offering MT4. They're only offering MT5. There's none out there that only offer MT4. Yeah. So they either offer MT5 or MT5 and MT4. Because EAs are automated, it doesn't matter what platform they run on. Yeah. So if I want to use MT4 for analysis purposes, because I like it, I'm used to it, I'm happy with it, but I'm going to auto trade. I can auto trade on MT5. It's the same thing. A tick is a tick, a candle is a candle. They're all the same. So the EA will just execute orders on MT5 for me. What it means is I can just develop for MT5, which means I don't have to duplicate all my development, and I don't have to support two product bases. And people that turn around and go, yeah, but I use MT4. Why don't you switch to MT5? There's no reason not to. No one can give me a reason not to switch to MT5 for automated trading, because it's automated. You don't do anything. If you don't like the platform, minimize it. Don't look at it. Yeah. That is running an automated strategy. Don't look at it. Doesn't matter. It's working. Just let it work, right? If you are, I hate it because I hate the way MT5 does X, Y, Z when I'm doing this, when I'm switching pairs, when I'm switching time frames, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. I don't like the way that this does that. That's fine. Stay on MT4 for your analysis, or TradingView, or Tradeovate, or Think or Swim, or whatever platform you want to use for analysis. But for automated trading, no one can come up with a reason not to use one platform, because it's automated. Doesn't matter, does it? So yeah, just time. It's just time to move on. I've been monitoring MT5 now for a year, and I'm happy with the way that they're running it now. It's so, it's good, and they're adding loads of good features into it, like the news calendar and EAs, and there's loads of good stuff going on with it. And MT4 is not going anywhere, but it's just every time someone asks me a question, they go, the EA is not working. First question is, what EA? Second question is, are you on MT4 or MT5? Then the next question is, have you used MT5 set files rather than MT4 set files? And we go down this cascading route of asking 5 or 6 questions before we even get to the problem, because multiple platforms, multiple set files, multiple this, multiple that. Everybody's just got one. It's easy, isn't it? But yeah, you don't have to use it for trading. Yeah, use it for automated trading, but do your analysis on MT4 or any platform. Doesn't matter. I might still use MT4 for analysis. Yeah, and then I'll use MT5 for automated trading. That way, I can do all the analysis on MT4 and just let the EAs trade MT5 for me. It's also got more instruments available to it in the fact that we can trade futures if you want to. But I'm just trying to standardize for people because, there's a lot of people now trading prop. If you're trading prop with CFDs, you're pretty much forced onto MT5. There's not many of them in prop that offer MT4. So, the people, I think the industry is kind of moving this shift from MT4 to MT5 has happened a lot faster in the last year because people are moving over to prop. And if you're trading prop, you're not trading MT4 most of the time. You're trading MT5 or you're trading another software platform, aren't you? Like TradeAvate. Yeah, and you can't use EAs on TradeAvate or TradingView. So, although you can build interfaces to get them to talk to each other, but it's not a straightforward thing, is it? So, but I'm still the main reluctance for me is still backtesting. Is not having control of the data in MT5 like you do in MT4. That's the thing that annoys me. So I might still end up knocking EAs together for MT4 to do backtesting. But I don't know. Undecided. The most annoying thing in the MT5 is the loading of gaps indicator. Yeah, and that is a problem. So that gap, the support resistance propulsion indicator, I was working on that this morning. It won't even compile. And this is the problem with MT5, it won't even compile. So that version that I built in MT5 works. When I try and recompile my source code now in the latest build of MT5, it won't even compile. There's over 100 errors because they've changed the code base so much since I built it. It won't even compile. So I've kind of got to build the thing from scratch. And this is where MT4 always wins. If you've got a software package that is not being updated anymore, nothing changes, therefore nothing breaks. So yeah, that is a pain. It's really annoying. It is really annoying, the SRP indicator. So if I can't even put it on there because it doesn't even work on it. Because it won't compile anymore. I'll have to find the other one, but yeah, I mean it's just annoying. I will rebuild that indicator. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is stripping out some of the functionality from it, mainly to do with the printing of trades. Because MT5, in MT5, you can have that automatically show. So trade levels and trade history are options within the platform. So I don't actually need to include that functionality. So what I might do is recode it and focus on the propulsion gap part of it as being the main thing. Support resistance lines are easy. But yeah, it's a recoding job. One of them things. Also, the backtest data can't change. No, this is I don't like the backtesting engine as much. It's just it's too restrictive. So there's pluses and minuses, but then again, a lot of people use multi-charts and they swear by multi-charts. Multi-charts is the best thing since sliced bread because of the backtesting engine, and it is absolutely brilliant. The backtesting engine in multi-charts, but as a trading platform, it's awful. So your analysis platform and your trading platform don't have to be the same thing. I can run as I've done here. Look, so I'm running my analysis here on the opening range. Yeah. And I pop over to my trading platform and I press a button to buy it. So I don't have to do analysis on this platform. I can trade on it. Just press buttons, aren't you? So different platforms for different things. Also, the ADR is loading. No, the ADR doesn't load slow. Does it? There you go, ADR. ADR doesn't load slow. Look, there's the ADR lines. That loads instantly. Oh, no, it didn't there, did it? That's a data thing. And again, that's nothing to do with the indicator. The indicator requires 10 days worth of data to calculate ADR 10. If I switch to an instrument that hasn't got 10 days worth of data, it can't calculate ADR 10. It hasn't got 10 days. So in that case, you'd have to get 10 days. There you go. So now it's drawn because I've now scaled out. I've got 10 days of data, so it can calculate it. It's nothing to do with the indicator. And again, it's a data handling thing. But once you've got data, it'll be fine. It's loading ADR, no problem. 75. You've got to move kicking and screaming at some point, though. You know, we're not getting anywhere today. Market's stuck. Before I spoke to you about the problem, you told me the MT5 is trash. Yeah, it is. Well, it's not trash. It's just different, isn't it? You know, I don't have to stay on MT5. I can stay on MT4. You know, I had this conversation with someone over the weekend. People can do what they like. It's entirely up to you which platform you choose to trade on. You know, if you are trading with Take Profit Trader, you haven't got a choice. You're trading on Tradeovate. Yeah. If you're trading with Top Step, you're trading on Top Step X. If you're trading with Robo Forex on CFDs, MT4, MT5, you choose. You can't trade multi-charts though. If you want to trade multi-charts, you need to find a broker that supports multi-charts. So software is software. And this is my point at the end of the day. A candlestick is a candlestick. This candlestick pattern that you see here is exactly the same as the candlestick pattern that you see here. There is no difference. A charting platform literally charts OHLC data. That's it. So you can use whatever you want to use. It really doesn't matter. You know, people that have bought EAs for MT4, you know, I've had a few people saying, oh, you're moving over to MT5. What about us MT4 people? Carry on. I'm not stopping you. It's an automated trading system. You put it on a VPS and you let it trade. Doesn't matter. If I start sitting here on MT4 charts and you're sitting on MT5 charts or whatever, these candlesticks are the same. Yeah. If you're on Tradeovate, yeah, there's a 3-bar reversal just gone in. Funnily enough, there's a 3-bar reversal also just gone in on Tradeovate because it's the same candlesticks. This is the futures market. This is the CFD market. The price patterns are identical. So the software platform has got nothing to do with anything. Really doesn't matter. Anything you want. I'm now using Claude Opus to build indicators for MT5. Works great. A bit pricey when you have errors to fix. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've got an EA builder. So in my members area, we've got the MetaTrader builder. You can build your own EAs and indicators in here. This is trained specifically for MetaTrader. So this will build you anything in MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5. Better than Claude because it's trained. Claude is everything. But you know, even this will get it wrong. We're doing sessions on this in the members as well. How to backtest, basically. If you're going to backtest, you've got to have a way to build an EA because you can't backtest without it. You can backtest manually, obviously, but that's going to take a while. Anything you're doing backtesting with manual backtesting is just going to be labor intensive, isn't it? So if you've got to open up your chart, go back, find the open from yesterday, mark it with a line, Yeah, measure the distance, calculate ADR, see what would, it just takes forever, doesn't it? This is why we have EAs. EAs are predominantly built for strategy robustness testing. They execute the strategies, but for me, more important than executing the strategy is the fact that I can backtest 10 years worth of data and find out whether or not it's an edge. Because if there's no edge, there's no point in trading it, is there? And this is where people go wrong with trading. They watch some bloke on YouTube, tell them that this is the best thing since sliced bread if they do that, and they go and do it. They never check whether it works or not. And they go, well, that doesn't work. No, because there's some bloke on YouTube whose goal is to get 50,000 views so he can earn enough to go out for a meal with his wife. He hasn't got a bloody clue if it works or not. You test it. You do your due diligence on it. If it has an edge and if it works long term, brilliant. If not, don't. But the only way you can do that is to build an EA so that you can backtest it. Or you build a Pine script to test it in TradingView, or you build something in multi-charts to test it. But testing is what this is about. This job is 90% testing, 10% execution. 90% learning, 10% execution. Just pulling back at the moment, potential flag. Gold is utterly stuck. The DOW is stuck. We're just stuck today. It's going to be a losing day today. Unless something kicks this into gear, we're just going to get chopped to death today. Nothing you can do with it. Where's the stop? Don't know which of those is the stop. So it looks like we might get stopped out on the NASDAQ. Might not. Very, very, very weak price action today. Gold's back at the open as well. Yeah, so if you're building EAs with AI, it's all about the prompt. So this is part of what I'm going to be doing in the members streams. I've built this system which basically is pre-trained on MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5. So it works in the same way basically. If I log out of that account, log into an account that's actually got a membership, I can show you. Okay, so basically when you just select the project, you give it a name, whatever you want to call it, select whether you want MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, whether it's an indicator or an EA. And then basically there's prompt advice here. So you just need to really give it a detailed explanation. And I've trained this model basically as much as I can to put all the safeguards in place that you need in an EA. So if you just said to it, like trade a moving average crossover strategy, whoops, it's going to give you a load of crap. It's going to give you a totally rubbish EA. Yeah, because you've given it no information to go on. How do I trade a moving average? Where do I put my stop loss, my take profit? So it will code accurately for MetaTrader 5 in this case, but there's no strategy execution that you're giving it that is going to make this work first time. It's highly likely it's going to have compile errors all over the place. Yeah. So there's the EA. 185 lines of code. If we compile that, it's probably going to be very, very, very crap. So you've got to give it much more detailed information about risk, about where stops go, about what instruments you're going to trade, the fact that you need it to be working on futures and CFDs. So you've got to make sure you're rounding up, taking minimum lot sizes. Do you want your risk over money? Do you want it over distance? Do you want it over a percentage of your balance? Do you want a fixed lot? Give it as much information as you possibly can, and you will get a much better product at the end of the day. But equally, this is never going to get it right. I've never been able to code anything with AI as well as a human, because it's not as good, because it doesn't know what I know. It hasn't got the experience that I've got. In the future, maybe, yeah. But right now, it will make mistakes, and I'll look at it and go, well, but you haven't put any safeguards in there for checking whether or not there's enough margin. Yeah, it won't do that. So you'll put it on your account and it won't work. And you'll be like, well, why is it not working? Well, it's not checking the margin. That's a prerequisite. This will, because I've coded it to do that. I've made sure that it's trained and it knows what it's got to do. So this is kind of an advanced version, if you like, of the Claude, but it's not Claude. This uses GPT-5. In fact, it doesn't use GPT-5. It uses GPT-4.1, which is much better than GPT-5. They've dropped the ball on GPT-5. Stopped out on the short. Long, rather. I haven't stopped out on my futures account, though. I'm still in, which is annoying, because that means I'm not going to get a break on this one. Whippy day today. Not a lot we can do with this today, is there? So potential pullback, deep flag, 50% retracement there. So we might go for another leg from there. Gold's pulling back as well. Just no volume. So we're 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, about 40 minutes sideways. Just no volume. So it'll either, this is going to be one of those days where we're lucky and it goes, or we're unlucky and it stops out. But don't push it today. It's a whippy day. So if you can play the ranges, probably play the ranges. Afternoon, watch check. How we doing? Apart from being chopped to death. So we've got propulsion gap forming here. So definitely sell side heavy at the moment. That's the first propulsion gap we've had today. So if we can break back above there, I think there's a good chance we might get a rally on. Well, not a rally, but we might get some movement back to the upside, at least to come and test high of day. But if that holds, I suspect we'll come back down. But choppy mess today. So FX wise, there's not a lot else to look at really today. There's quite a few RSI extensions on multiple time frames. It's only Monday, but a lot of this is CAD and New Zealand related. Obviously, New Zealand CAD specifically. Obviously, that's off to the moon at the moment because of the New Zealand strength and the CAD weakness. But we're back up in propulsion. You're up in the 80 level. So, you know, when we get up to those sorts of levels, we are finding exhaustion. So, one there as well. So, yeah, potential good-looking short New Zealand CAD on the 4 hour. US dollar Swiss also, we've got a very weak dollar. We've had a good, strong Swiss franc today, straight back into propulsion. Again, very extended. It's where we like to look at those mean reversion opportunities below the 80, above the 80, below the 20 levels. Very, very strong on the 4 hour. So you've got CAD Swiss, you've got Swiss yen as well. Again, but that's partly because of this gap up opportunity with the PM potentially resigning. That is up in that monthly double top right now and extended. But it is Swiss yen. So this thing can obviously, as you can see, I've been stuck in a squeeze on it recently. It can squeeze very, very hard. So just be careful of that one. Not my favorite pair to trade at all. It's safe haven against a safe haven. But yeah, so that's a good opportunity, US dollar Swiss and the CAD Swiss. But these two are pretty much the same. So don't trade both, trade one or the other. If you look at the correlation on those two, where are we? CAD Swiss and US dollar Swiss. Yeah, they are 82% correlated. And on a daily time frame, 78%. So basically, 8 out of 10 days, they do exactly the same thing. So just bear in mind when you're seeing alerts like that, obviously, these two are the same thing. So if you are going to trade one of those, trade one of those, not both, because you're just doubling your exposure if you're going to get into both of them. But both good mean reversion opportunities at the moment. CAD Swiss, that's out in all-time lows. US dollar Swiss is not in all-time lows, so you have got potential support coming up. But equally, you know, we're approaching all-time lows, so just be careful. Yeah, that's COVID. No, it's not COVID. Sorry, that's the financial crash. COVID's back here, isn't it? So yeah, that's the financial crash. So look out below. There's literally nowhere to go. So just be a little careful. All this old drawing. So when you come out into these weekly charts, you find all these old drawings that are stuck in your template that you didn't even know were stuck in your template. Get rid of. Artifacts. Okay. So stopped out the Dow. NASDAQ has ignored that propulsion move and we're off, which is good for my futures account. Happy days, back in profit. So I'm not going to get greedy today. I'm going to get out at yesterday's high. So Friday's high basically is upside target. Just in case we find resistance there. So that'll be probably about $600-800 day. That's really annoying. Look at that for a stop out. It doesn't get any worse than that, does it? Yeah. Lower the candle. Stop order. They could not have timed that any worse, could they? You watch. Now you watch the Dow Jones collapse. Just to rub it in. Have you tested gold, ORB, take profits? No. 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 Honest answer. So test them. As you know, I will look at my P&L and I will trade what I see. So won't be much different. I think you find gold is probably, you want to be getting out a little bit quicker, but equally, some of them, I mean, the rallies on gold, when that dollar drops, it's all the same stuff. You know, this is a futures market, the same as the NASDAQ and Dow and everything else. It's all related to the US dollar. If the US dollar collapses, that's going to pop. If the stock indices are rallying, this is probably going to rally, but not quite as hard. So just attempting a new high of session on the NASDAQ. tempted to take a partial and go for a bigger. I can't use trade evade. I hate it. Yeah, I mean, we haven't. Far away from where we are at the moment, is it? So there's potential resistance just above Friday's high, which is probably what we reacted to before. And then we're looking at getting up to 23,982. So I'm just toying with the idea of whether or not to take a partial there and go for a run. It's rejecting the high of the day as well. It's going to be one of those days today. I can just feel it. There is something weird. Check the bar chart on Forex Factory for interest rate drop after hike. Usually the market crashed 2008 COVID, and now we are dropping rates. There is something weird. Check the bar chart on Forex Factory for interest rate drop after a hike. Usually a market crash. Don't know. I don't actually know what you mean by that. If you're trying to predict the future movement of stock indices, up to you, but I go with wherever the stock indices go. This is a breakout strategy. If they want to drop, let them drop. We'll go with them. But I'll be, I'm not trading long term on stock indices, so I'm not interested in what could possibly happen based on historical patterns. It's going to do it. If it's going to do it, it's going to do it. So we will do it anyway, won't we? Because we'll be taking the ORB short. If it's going to collapse, we'll go with it. I don't conform to theories about seasonality personally, but with the reason I don't follow that methodology is for every time you tell me that something is going to happen and it happens, I will tell you an instance where it should have happened and it didn't happen, because markets are binary. It will or it won't. That's it. If it does, I go with it. If it doesn't, I go with it. Either way, I'm a winner. And the people that went, we're having a collapse, I'm only going to short the market, if they're wrong, they lose all the time. I win all the time because I go with where the market's going. So you can estimate what is going to happen in the future based on historical movement of interest rate rises and things, but I'd rather just go with the way that the market decides to go. I'm not saying you specifically, but people, if people, people do this. There's analysts out there that, and especially in banks, the banks do it all the time. They're trying to predict and forecast where price is going to go. That's their job. They pay analysts 6 figures a year to sit at a desk and tell them which way the direction the price is going. They'll have a guess, but at the end of the day, if a pandemic hits in the middle of November or an alien spaceship comes, this thing's going to go in a totally different direction, isn't it? So it's like the old Chinese thing. It's a Wednesday. We've had a red night on the moon was like a red night. So because it's a Wednesday and it's the 7th of the month and it was red last night, we need to go long tomorrow. You got a 50% chance of being right. That's the way I look at it. I didn't mean not to trade it, but to check it. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to check, to be honest. If you look at interest rates, over time, I think the best way to do this. What am I looking for? Where is my brain? Fed fund rate. So, if you look at the chart, that's not what I want to do. I want to be here. Where are we? Where are we? Interest rates, Fed fund rate. There. So if you look at historically the last 10 years, yeah. So 29th of April 2020, COVID. Holy crap! Bang! We sat there, and this is the last decade. So this is going back to 2015. This is the biggest interest rate hike we've had, and the drop is so unbelievably slow coming back down. Yeah. This, I don't think, would form a crash. If anything, this type of movement would form a pop in the indices. But I don't know. If you look at inflation over the last decade, yeah, not a lot of difference, is it? Really? We had a wobble in COVID. But, inflation went up after COVID, but we are back to where we were pre-COVID levels. It's all normalized. The thing that's not normalized is interest rates. But, the correlation between these events will have an impact on the markets at some point. How it impacts them, I don't really mind. I just go with the flow. If you go back to, I wouldn't know what to look back. So go back to 2008. I don't know what to look at. It doesn't. When does the rate change? Gone back a week for some reason. Yeah, 2008. Up there we were. But what caused that? Have a look at what caused it. There's your financial crash. Yeah. I mean, it could look like that, couldn't it, in a year and a half's time? But if it does, do you know what? I'll be short in the indices for the next year and making loads of money. But if it doesn't do that and it does this, do you know what? I'll be trading both directions on the indices and making a load of money. I don't think you can predict it. I'm long right now because the market broke long. I'm going with the market. I'm long because the market broke long. I'm going with the market. If the market wants to do this all day long, I'm going to get shot. I'm going to lose money. The edge. I see what you mean. Yeah, I can see that it dropped in 2008, but what relevance has it got to do with 2025? Just because it got to the same level doesn't mean it's going to drop. It means it got to the same level. It's going to go up or down, isn't it, now? They're either going to drop it 0.25% or 0.5% next week. But that drop will be based on what is going to happen with the PPI number and the CPI number. If that is lower than forecast and that is lower than forecast, they will drop it by that. If that is higher than forecast and that is higher than forecast, they'll drop it by that. What they're going to do for the next 6 months, I don't know. That will determine, and that will determine what happens. But I don't know. I can't predict the future. So I will do what the market does, which is go in a direction. All you can do. There's no point in trying to predict these things. Because it's like moving averages. People always ask me, why don't you use a moving average? Why have you not got a daily bias? Because what happened yesterday has got nothing to do with today. Friday was an absolute massive catastrophic collapse on the markets. Today, we're popping. So what's that got to do with that? Nothing. It went down there because of a reason. It's going up today because of a reason. And the reason is there is more buying pressure today than selling pressure. Therefore, the price is rising. Because There is more demand to buy NASDAQ stocks today than there was on Friday. That is the only reason this is going up. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got nothing to do with a moving average. It's got nothing to do with a VWAP. It's got nothing to do with anything. It's pure volume of weight of orders from banking institutional algorithms driving price in a direction. If I think this is going to come down because 2008 we had a collapse and I'm only going to short this market, I'm missing all this profit today. I'm sitting here right now with, well, I've just done it. Look, $670 of profit because I pressed the long button, because the market went up, not because of any other reason. In fact, I'm just going to close it. There we go. $660 in the bag. But for no other reason than the market broke long. What's that? It's not a pending order, is it? No. Oh, it's a low. I'm an hourly. I'm on an hourly chart. That's the low, the session low, isn't it? That's the session low. The open. Is it? Is that session low? Is that Globex low? Yeah. So that's the Globex low there. Low of the day. High of the day. See, so it doesn't matter what platform you use. They're all as confusing as each other. You just get used to one and you trade it. I'm used to that. And I'm used to this by default because I'm used to that. They're both the same thing. With £50 plan on the new website, will I get full access to educational content? Yes. So basically the only difference between the £99 and the okay. So it's free to get the members section is free to join. You get access to the calendar, currency strength, dashboards. You don't get alerts, but you do get the dashboards, correlation analysis, fundamental analysis. You get 6 months worth of data, retail sentiment analysis. You can do the majors, trading metrics. You get 1 account and 3 AI analysis. You don't get the MetaTrader Builder. You don't get access to all the education and access to all the EAs. Yep. If you do the middle one, the 49, you get alerts on the platform. You get 10 years worth of data. So you get the full 10 years worth of data. You can retail, you can do all retail sentiment and filter it as well. You get 5 different accounts for trading metrics and more AI analysis. You can use the MetaTrader Builder to build your own EAs, 3 projects, 50 interactions, and then you get the education. If you do the 99, you get more of stuff. Plus, you get access to all the EAs. So all of the EAs in the EA bundle, which is the Position Trader EA, Market Reversal Alert, not Market Reversal Alert EA, Position Trader EA, Zone Trader EA, ORB, SIH, all my EAs basically, you get all them included as well for 99. So it's basically analysis tools, education plus EAs. That's basically what the levels are. So for people that have already bought EAs and don't need the EAs, that's all you need to access the live streams and the education. If you haven't got the EAs yet, that gets you access to all the EAs as well, thrown in. So that's worth 450 quid. If you were to buy all the EAs, 600 quid. So if you stayed for 3 months using the EAs and then you decide you don't like it, you still save yourself a ton of cash doing it that way. But it's a rental, if you like. So it's kind of like looking at it as lease. You're leasing the EAs, not buying them. So you have to hand them back and get new EAs at the end of the lease term. I don't know. Understand what you do. It makes sense that why I'm watching, learning, but it just wanted to share something interesting. Yeah. I mean, it may well happen. You know, this is the thing. But I'm, like I said, there's no point in fixating on the what ifs. Trade the nows. Right now, NASDAQ's breaking long. You should be long. Right now, gold's breaking long. You should be long. Dow's not really doing much, but it's trying to break long, isn't it? So it doesn't matter what the long-term bias is. It doesn't matter what yesterday's price action was. It doesn't matter what the moving averages say. It doesn't matter about anything. What matters is what the market's doing, especially with the indices. With forex, it's unpredictable because every single time you get a new economic event released, the bias changes. Yeah. So, it's like right now, the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar are really, really strong. Next week, when we get some Aussie and New Zealand, let's say on Thursday morning, Hawkesby comes out and says, we're going to drop the interest rates twice as fast as we thought we were going to because we've seen inflation predictably coming down. New Zealand dollar is going to fall through the floor. Right now, it's the strongest thing we've got. Isn't it? It changes. If you look at the currency strength meters, yeah, New Zealand dollar, one of the strongest things out there. On Wednesday, he could open his mouth and it will be down here. So you can't predict the future of anything. Everything will go where it's going to go based on the fundamentals, and all you can do is go along. You are a passenger on a train. Get on the train. If it goes to the station you want, happy days. If it doesn't go to the station you want, have a backup plan, which is either a position trade out of the trade or a stop loss. That's it. But trying to predict the future is utterly pointless. And this is what I learned way too slowly when I was learning how to trade, was that you can't predict the future. I spent my entire life hopping from system to system, strategy to strategy, indicator to indicator, EA to EA, looking for something that would give me a better strike rate on my trades, i.e. predict the future. Of course, there's no such thing. There is no indicator or EA that can predict the future because it's the future. If we knew what the future was, we'd do exactly what we needed to do to make money, wouldn't we? But you can't do that. So, everyone that says, and I see a lot of people, respected people like Tom Hugard, we're going into the 3-year cycle or the whatever cycle, and he'll take a trade based off of that. It's got a 50-50 chance of working. That's all. And when it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. What does he do? Get out of the trade. Cut the risk. Because it's all you've got is a 50% shot. It will or it won't. And it will do it through time. That's all you have. You wrap risk around that. And that's all trading is, isn't it? These trades today had risk wrapped around them. Unlucky, unfortunate, wrong placed, whatever you want to call it. If I'd have put the stop loss there, I'd be in profit now. I didn't. I put the stop loss there because that's what my strategy edge told me is the best optimal in the past. What's the best optimal in the future? Certainly not that, is it, today? But if I'd have known that was going to happen today, I'd have put my stop there. But I wouldn't have needed to put my stop there because I knew what was happening. I wouldn't needed to stop. What I would have done is at the open, I'd have pressed the buy button and I'd be up here now because I'd have known it was going to go up. You don't. This is my whole point with trading. It's random. I have no idea if gold is going to pay me today or not. But I do know that I have a long-term edge with a risk-reward ratio, and that's it. That's what makes money. Other than that, you're just guessing, aren't you? It's just finger in the air, and if the wind blowing north or south, if it's blowing south, I'll go short. If it's blowing north, I'll go long. If it's blowing east or west, I'll sit out today. That's all we got. Right. This is not going very far. Breaking down very nicely. 150 ADR today. If you are in short Aussie New Zealand and you have got aggressive on like me, 150 is a decision-making point today. Still don't know what to do with it. Brian, where's John and the crystal ball? He'll know. Yeah, he'll know. Here he comes. Oh, hello. What's that? That's not a crystal ball. There he is. That's it. He knows, you know. Oh, poor old John, look at his hands. Look at the AI. How AI has advanced. How crap AI he was at doing hands. Got a poor deformed thumb. Mind you, he has got a finger missing, isn't he, in John Wick? So, was it his little finger? No, it was his ring finger on his right hand, wasn't it? It was that one. He lost, wasn't it? We should do that now with the new versions of AI, especially with Nano Banana. Let's try it. Should we try Nano Banana? For a laugh. Banana. Prompt engine. Text to image. John Wick rubbing a crystal ball with a concerned look on his face in a darkened room with trading charts in the background. Do your worst, Nano Banana. Let's see how far you've come. This thing's amazing. I got this thing the other day. I gave it a picture of my dog. And basically it was a picture that she had taken after a haircut at Christmas. And the dog hairdresser, what are they called? Basically put a little bow thing on her. And unfortunately her legs were cut off. That's much better, look. Her legs were cut off. So I said, take this picture, take that Christmas thing off, and put her on a nice beach running along with a smile on her face. It did it. It doesn't even know what my dog's legs look like, but it knew what my dog's legs looked like, and it put it on a beach. It's unbelievable. Anyway, there you go. That is the new John Wick. With a crystal ball. Compared to the old John Wick with a crystal ball. If you ask somebody, right, 3 years ago, a Photoshop graphic designer to knock that up for you, yeah, he'd charge you about 500 quid. Nano Banana just did that for me in less than 30 seconds. And I made it up as I went along. Look at the charts as well. Yeah, look at the candlesticks. They're proper candlesticks. It's got like volume on it, indicators, dashboard output. Yeah, I mean, I could almost, look, there's a propulsion gap there. If it retests that, buy it. Unbelievable, isn't it? There we go. Nano Banana, the future. Bye-bye Photoshop. Yeah, you've had a lovely run, Adobe, but bye. You're out of business. Who on earth is going to use Photoshop anymore for anything? Absolutely. Why? Graphic designers, unemployed. Photoshop, business, stock, through the floor. It's all gone, isn't it? Have you tried Manus? No? What's Manus? Oh, what's Manus? AI, a general AI agent that turns your thoughts into actions, excels at various tasks in work and life. Transform your ideas into stunning presentations. This might be handy for course content. AI on steroids, is it? I've never heard of this one. This is the problem now, is there are so many AI variants that you just don't know what to use. I get my Facebook feed is full of use these 10 prompts to do this. Have you seen this? This, everything AI. There are a billion things that do the same thing now, and they're all very, very good. Nano Banana has become the best image generator and editor on the planet. Literally, it dropped, and everyone went, what's this? Holy crap. bye-bye Photoshop, bye-bye everybody in graphic design, literally overnight. They just dropped it and went, there you go. It's all free. Didn't cost anything, did it? Yeah, and this sort of stuff. I mean, there'd be loads of things like this coming along, which are just, and the new version of ChatGPT 5 with its deep thought and everything that it does. I mean, it's great, but still coding, it's brilliant at, but it's stupid at the same time. I've asked it to fix a bug in an EA 7, 8, 10 times, and it just gets stuck in a loop going round in circles, and I'll ask it the same thing in a different way to try and get it out the loop, and it goes round and round and round, and I look at it and go, I know exactly what the problem with this is. You just can't fix it. So there's this like mental block AI's got with coding at certain points, which is what I've tried to train out of it here by me identifying what those blocks are and retraining it to say, you're never going to get stuck in this loop, because if you do, this is how you get out of it. And I think this is where we've got to just get AI to this point where there are no loops left. And I don't know how long that's going to take, but this is as close as I've got to something. And I've tried to build my products with it as well. So I've tried to duplicate the position trader EA. I've tried to duplicate the opening range breakout EA, and it can do it to a certain extent, but you will find the amount of interactions you need to get it spot on still not quite there. So the reason I've put this in the members area is for building strategies out. So we're going to have a section in the training, if you like, which is going to be about the 10 steps for creating a strategy, what you need to do when you're creating a strategy to do with backtesting. And if you're going to backtest a strategy, you've got to be able to automate the backtesting. This is really what I've built this for. This is what I was partly involved in with these other guys. They got stuck on this bit because they're not coders and they didn't know why it wasn't doing what it was doing, whereas I did. But it's about being able to quickly test a strategy. So if you see a strategy on YouTube for trading, anything, there you go. So if you go and watch that, I don't know who this person is, but go and watch it. If they explain the strategy in detail, you can write the strategy in detail. You can put the strategy in detail into here, and it will spit you out an EA that you can put in the backtester and visually check that it trades that strategy. And then the process is just going, no, you've done that wrong. Put it back in, tell it, get it back out again. And if you can get that done within sort of 10 to 20 iterations of the initial project, you can backtest any strategy you can find online, yeah, and see if it's worth doing or not. I've done it, and I know that 90% of this is crap because it's all trying to sell YouTube views. This is all about, is trying to make money. 711,000 views. Do you think this guy gives a monkey's whether this strategy works or not? He's got nearly 1 million views on YouTube. That's how he's making his money. Not trading it. He's not doing anything. He's just making money on YouTube. 99% of this is crap. This bloke even looks AI generated, didn't he? I'm not even sure that's a real human being. My name is Doug, the robot. I don't know. Yeah, I'll have a look at that, Manus. They all look the same though, don't they? It's like, please generate beautiful slides about topic and requirements. John Wick and his dog. Start designing. I will do that and I'll see what he comes up with. Even if you tell it to go to the MST website and tell me what is going on there, it will enter your website and create an account and tell you what is in there. Really? Wow. Blimey. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Yeah. And this is the thing, you know, it begs the question as to how businesses are going to make money in the future. You know, if you type in anything like how to convert a garage, a garage into a room, for example. This is something I did recently, yeah? the result that you get is this. Yeah. And it will tell you exactly how to convert a garage into a room. Now, you can deep dive in AI mode into this, and it will give you much more detailed information. These poor guys here, right, who created a load of video content about how to convert a garage so that you would either buy their services, buy their product, or view their videos, now make no money. These poor guys here who have spent thousands over decades on SEO to get themselves into these top positions to either sell you affiliate advertising, sell you their products, or whatever it is they're doing, they do not get any traffic anymore. Because AI has aggregated every website on the planet, and now it just spits out at the top the information. What's the point in having a website? Yeah, you don't make any money having a website anymore. There's no traffic going to these websites. The traffic goes to this. The traffic goes to 53 seconds into this guy's video who doesn't appear in the top 3 results here. Yeah, it's completely destroyed internet revenue streams everywhere. Yeah. This thing, if this can log into a website, sign up, and then come back and give you exactly what's going on in that website, competitor analysis, yeah? How is a business ever going to survive if they cannot keep a secret about what is in their website? You know, this is just so intrusive, isn't it? And I get it. It's brilliant. I love it. And I use it every day for everything. But equally, it's destroyed all income streams on the web. Yeah. YouTube as well. YouTube's got a massive problem at the moment with AI generated content. Yeah. AI can generate a video of a person that doesn't exist. It can generate a script and create graphics to create a video to put online for something that it has learned on here. So what we're getting is all of this content regurgitated again into another video, which gets read, which gets regurgitated into another video, and you end up in a loop of crap that just gets worse and worse and worse, and there's not a human being involved in it. What a load of crap is YouTube going to be in the future? It's just going to be full of AI rubbish. Who's human? Who's not? Facebook feed. What's real? What's not? I had babies telling me how annoyed they were about being born because their mum had had a drink while they were pregnant and they came out feeling half pissed. This baby looked really realistic and he was being interviewed by a news reporter who looked equally as realistic. Now, if my 4-year-old child watched that video, he now thinks that he's a bit behind the curve because this baby could talk and he's only been talking for 2 years. Babies are going to get complexes. Mad. What's real? I don't know. I know what's real. Money's real. This is real. I like this. I'm sticking with this. This works. Long on the Dow. Gold trades broken long. We are off. NASDAQ stuck. The chat GPT loops remind me of arguments with my ex-wife. I just shut it down and walk away. If I don't, I'll be buying monitor screens every week. Yes, exactly. It's a massive problem. It is a massive problem at the moment, specifically from a coding perspective. But it will get better. It will replace coders, I'm pretty sure. Bill Gates said one of the very few jobs that's still going to be left from AI is coding, because coders are still going to have to check the code. I'm not convinced. This entire membership system has been built with not one line of code. I have not coded anything. I have coded stuff in here. That's a lie. I've done a lot of coding in here. But the main framework was all built by AI. Everything you see in here was all built by AI. And then I recoded it to fine tune it because it kept getting things wrong all the time. It kept getting things wrong. Correlation analysis. Trying to describe something this complex to AI, it kept getting it wrong. So I said to it, do this bit, right? And I will plug in the back. So I'll make this appear when that happens, but I know the code I need to do that. So get the basic framework in place and then I'll take over. That's where we are with it at the minute. We're not quite where we can, as much as they say they are, they're not. Under the hood, there's a lot of stuff that it really struggles with. But there's a lot of good things, isn't there? But yeah, I mean, I'll try them out. I'll make some slides for the new members videos or streams. I have Claude remember the MQL5 documentation when prompt as a software engineer. Yeah. So that's partly what this does. So the initial prompt here is doing something very similar under the hood. So it makes sure that whatever you type in here, if you select MetaTrader 5 there and type create an MT4 indicator, right? My prompt says the guy's an idiot because he's selected MT5. Yeah, so there's a lot of fallbacks. And this is the thing, isn't it? There's a lot of fallbacks. I have had to program into this a lot of fallbacks because AI is stupid. It is a child still. It is very, very stupid. You tell it something, you say, you've done that wrong. Doesn't matter. You swear at it if you want to. And it will go, I'm really, really sorry. I'll do it again. No, you've just done it twice. Remember, we're in a loop. You need to get out of this. Try it this way. And then it does it the same way. And you're like, you just don't get it. For some reason, it just gets stuck. There's something not clicking. It'll get there. I'm sure it'll get there. But it's just taking a long time. Anyway, I'm worried to affect how the market will be moving in the future. Yep, there is a distinct possibility that obviously AI has already taken, if you look at this project, which I've been keeping an eye on, the lucky one it's called. This basically is an AI that has outperformed the stock market, basically. So they basically got AI to do weekend research into stocks, into small cap, 300K, I think it's 300K small cap stocks, and to pick stocks to invest in based on research. So it does the research at the weekend, it gives the stock picks out, and a human being has basically pressed the buttons. This is the S&P500. This is AI. Yeah, 100% automated. It basically has been told what to do, how to trade, what to trade specifically. So it has been given information about you can only trade small caps. And it's outperformed the S&P by 27% in a matter of months. And admittedly, this is short term. But if more of this is going to happen by bank and institutional traders, we are going to see the way the market moves change. Because it may be that we do not have an opening range breakout anymore, because the Globex session will become more like the forex markets, where it's very heavily automated. Yeah. So it may be that ORB strategy will die, and we'll have to come up with something else. But should we all be trading with AI? I've seen it coding. There's no way I'm letting it in charge of my own money. I'm sorry. No. Not at the moment. I'm not putting an AI in charge of 10 grand, let alone more. It's just not going to happen. But I will let it give me advice. Yeah. And this has AI insights built into it. Yeah. So, we haven't got any accounts in here, but we've got a system here where it will analyze our accounts for us, and it will give us guidance based on what we're trading, how we're trading it, and all the information that we give it in the trading metrics. So I'm using it to analyze, but I'm not using it to make decisions for me. I'm making decisions. But I think it will happen. I think it's going to change the way the markets work, but I'm not sure how, and I'm not sure when. Bank and institutional, I think you've got to understand it. Bank and institutional movement has been going on for centuries. They have been doing the same things in roughly the same way for decades and centuries. Suddenly going no more humans is not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a very, very, very long-winded process. They're going to have to A/B test humans against AI. And the problem is, when AI trades against AI, how does AI succeed? Because for every tick, there is a winner and a loser. The market is binary. When it goes up, someone has sold it. They are in the hole. So when the AI makes its decisions on strategy, it's trading market history. How can it trade market history when the market future is different because AI is trading against itself? At the end of the day, this is still going to be a binary market. It will go up and down based on weight of volume of price orders. Who executes them and how they're executed doesn't matter. As long as you're wrapping risk around it and the reward is higher than the risk, you will still make money. But the way you do it at the moment is based on historical edges. That is the bit that I think is going to change. And I don't know how to deal with that part yet because, but it's the same as with the Swiss franc. I didn't used to trade the Swiss franc. I do now. The yen, I used to trade it. I don't now. Things changed. I don't like them anymore. So I stopped trading them. If this thing starts moving wrong, I will trade something else. Just adapt, don't you? It's one of those things, but it's going to change, isn't it? More people are going to, and don't go off and try and trade this thing. It trades small caps. You won't even be able to get the trades on. You need tons of leverage to trade small cap stocks. They're incredibly risky. If this thing gets one wrong, one of these small caps wrong, mind you, it does use stop losses, but if it gets one of these small caps wrong and it's holding it over a weekend and that company has news over the weekend that's bad, you could gap down into zero. These small caps can not go bust, but they can go downhill very fast. So it's a great experiment. It's showing how AI works, but it's trading the riskiest pink sheets on the planet. Don't try and trade it. At some point, that thing, I think, is going to go pop. I ain't going to be on it. Time flies. I've been watching you since 2022. Blimey. 3 years, yeah. Since the old website. Yeah. Long time. But this is the thing. I'm testament to what I do. I'm still here. I've been streaming for 5 years. Still here. Still doing the same old thing. Been doing it for years because it works. When it stops working, I'll do something else. I diversify. Do you think Jim Simon was using LLMs with some engineers from MIT? I've no idea. I don't know who Jim Simon is. Never heard of him. Is this bloke that's done this? Is it? I don't know. I don't know who Jim Simon is. Who's Jim Simon? Jim Simmons? No. No, Jim Simmons? Trading? Oh, it's him, is it? Jim Simmons. Quantitative analysis. I don't know what he was using. He was using risk reward and mathematical equations, exactly the same as I do. This is all this is maths, yeah? We're wrapping mathematical equation around price movement to find an edge, find an edge. Yeah. Same as the turtles. Yeah, I mean, the turtle trading strategy, it's a very famous story about the turtles and how those guys taught other guys. There was multiple generations of turtles all doing the same thing. But at the core of the strategy was a mathematical edge. They all went off in different directions and did different things. Some of them now run some of the biggest investment funds on the planet. Some of them are now school teachers. Yeah. Psychologically, they were taught the same thing and did the same thing in the same way, but they went down different paths. The edge was mathematical. The turtle trading strategy still works to this day. Yeah, same way as the buy and hold S&P still works, same way as the ORB still works. This strategy has been around for decades. It's open outcry. In the pits, at that point in time, there was open outcry. And when everybody did that, you did that. When everybody did that, you did that. But it was a barometer. You heard the trading and you did what you did based on that. This was replaced, open outcry, by electronic trading. Now the pits are dead silent, but the strategy is the same. It's the opening range breakout. If there is a load of people wanting to buy today, you buy today. If there's a load of people wanting to sell today, you sell today. The turtles trend strategy still works because things still trend. As long as the markets do the same thing every day they've done for the last 100 years, every strategy that works today will continue to work. And that's where the question mark comes. If you introduce artificial intelligence, will the markets do the same thing? Will you find that China becomes the dominant planet in the world, on our planet, or dominant country on our planet rather, because their AI is better than the US's AI, and therefore they bankrupt the US? If that's the case, we'll all be trading yuan, wouldn't we? We just hit resistance on the DAX. Spotted out the corner of my eye. AI would have spotted that. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'll just carry on doing what I'm doing. Still something to be said with settlements. Institutional orders need placed and settled daily. Not sure how AI will play a part. Yeah, I mean, but it's all algorithmic, isn't it? As long as it's run by a computer, AI can do it. And this is the scary thing. AI can do everything that a computer can do. I've just proven that. I've just replaced Adobe Photoshop and a graphic designer. Within 30 seconds, it's given me my new John Wick. Yeah, I've replaced an entire company that makes software and a man somewhere in the world as a freelance graphic designer. I've replaced them both for free. And I've got something done with one sentence that used to have to write a paragraph for, source a person, send out a spec, wait for him to send over a visual, me to go, no, that looks crap, I want it to look a bit more moody, send it back, da, da, da. It's all gone. That whole thing has been replaced by Nano Banana overnight. What is going to replace this overnight? Something is, isn't it? It is going to get replaced. So we're going to have to adapt. That's all. But I don't know how. Gold basically is stalling out. I've got break-even stop loss on that. So we must be at gnat's whisker away from taking a partial on that at the moment. So any close above that candle high, partial is going to get taken. I'm tempted to just take that off, to be honest. The rest of the markets are coming down. I'm just going to close that gold out completely. Just going to mitigate some of this loss today on the DAX. And obviously, we've had 2 stop outs on the Dow and the NASDAQ and a double stop out on the DAX today. So that mitigates some of this loss. And then obviously the Dow is my only hope today. So if we can break out of the Globex highs on the Dow, there's potential to maybe get back to break even today, but no profit today. It's not going to happen. If you want to laugh, look at Adobe's stock price since 2022 when GPT was released. Yeah. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's the the reality of what AI is doing. It's not companies, it's industries, entire industries. India is going bankrupt. I can guarantee it. Having worked in web design myself in the past, I know that as I was finishing off my sort of career in web design, over 80% of our coding was done overseas in Pune, Hyderabad, and whatever it's called, and all these other places in India. Yeah, they were producing more coders from university in India than there were people being born in the UK. Yeah, it is the hub of the planet for programming. Nobody uses programmers anymore. So India, over the last 20 years, has trained its entire population to be IT based. You've got a massive population with a massive poverty problem and a food crisis, and your networks for electricity cannot sustain electricity 24 hours a day. And also, your entire country is about to go bust because everybody that works there works in IT. We don't have IT anymore. We have AI. Imagine what's going to happen to India. They're in all sorts of trouble. Indonesia. Customer services. You phone up customer services, where do you go? Indonesia, India, Pakistan, somewhere over there. Yeah. Customer service is now done by AI. You phone up now. My leasing company with my car, I phoned up to get booked in to the collection for my car. I spoke to an AI who booked the appointment for me. No human. That customer service representative that did all that, he did 20 to 30 of those a day. Gone. Job's gone. It's all going. This is why it's so important that you learn this stuff and you learn how to do it yourself, because there won't be any jobs. You're going to have to make your own money. And the only way I know how to print money myself is by doing this. So this is what you need to learn. Forget Photoshop. Or go and get a hammer. Yeah? Because AI can't hold hammers at the moment. It can't use wrenches. It can't use screwdrivers. Anything manual. Anything computerized. Don't do it. You're in all sorts of trouble. Right. Dow's pulled into the highs. Everything's pulling back. So very, very weak market today. But yeah, print your own money. That's what you got to do. Yeah. Prop. Probably going to be the way of the future, as much as I hate to admit it. But then again, if you're going to be fighting AI algorithms, is prop even going to work? I don't know. Watching for the turnaround. Yeah. We got a real. That's the first bear candle on the Dow for the last hour. We are a lot weaker on the NASDAQ. Mixed bag today. Really, really mixed bag today. Difficult. FTMO is back in the US now. Yeah, I saw that. So yeah, I mean, it's one of the prop firms I'm going to recommend. I'm going to recommend people sign up to specific prop firms because they'll be the ones that I'll be trading with. So FTMO will be one of them because they're now back in the US, which is fantastic. Good CFDs. CAD Swiss, crazy, but it's a falling knife. $125 now. There's nowhere to go with it. I mean, you're gapped down into all-time lows. There's literally nothing to look at. So how far she goes, nobody knows. This is uncharted territory. Mind you, it's been uncharted territory for a while, hasn't it, really? But this is the first break of the 2-month low. So that is your June low. So if you look at it from a 2-month cycle perspective, we're likely to sit around doing that, aren't we? Turtles were in from there. Probably out now. But yeah, it's you have got divergence though, which is bullish. So there is. I'd be watching that as a target to the upside. But we'll see what happens with this US this week. You know, if that US has a hammering this week, the CAD's probably going to get hammered with it. Yeah, out in the middle of nowhere. That's the first signal we've had on the 4-hour for 2 months. 2 weeks. Had one there for longs. Maybe that, but I'm going to much rather on the 4-hour look at the 80-20s. Safer, more stretched, less squeezy. Right, I'll leave it there. I'll back on Wednesday. Got picked up for a live with day traders last week. picked up for live with day traders last week. Had the onboarding last Wednesday. Day traders? What's that? I never heard of them. Is that another prop firm? Another one. Daytraders.com, another fun, another prop firm. Hundreds, so many of them. There are literally every week there's a new one. Project X, so they are on this new X platform, which Top Step's on. It's Top Step, basically, isn't it? Top Step, Trade-Ovate. They're all the same. They're literally all the same. They all do the same thing. Got a few more accounts there, haven't they? S2F accounts, straight to funded. Straight to sim funded. And today, drawdown, $2.5 account, basically, you've got. 1.25 account. What's the profit share? Must be 90, I guess, same as everyone else. If it's not, I'm using the others. Can't beat at the moment. Take profit trader, I mean, instant payouts, like day one. So you get funded, day one, you make $600, you draw out $600, day one. Top Step, everybody else, you have to wait weeks. So it's just, this is they've got the real advantage, take profit at the moment. And you can use any platform you want because you've got Rhythmic. They're all the same. They're all good. If you can play out an edge and stay playing out the edge, that's the thing. That's where everyone goes wrong. They just don't continue with the edge, do they? They chuck it in and go, no, it doesn't work. That was a bloody good exit, wasn't it, on the gold? Oof, read that right. Saw those coming down. Jump ship. So it could be a reversal coming in here. We'll see. Good luck, though, if you're trading it. I'm back on Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon, as usual. I'll have more updates on what I'm doing with the training and everything, hopefully by then. But anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Discord or Telegram. And back Wednesday. So have a good day. Good luck. And I will see you next time. And beware of AI.